Alright, let's do it. Ye old pidge fic. Pizza Pants rang the doorbell and stood there begrudgingly as a bunch of disguised draped delinquents accumulated around him in an attempt to piggyback on his presence after having already initiated the ritual to summon forth the house's occupants. What a sentence. What a starting sentence. Okay, let's parse what actually that meant. Pizza Pants rang the doorbell and stood there begrudgingly as a bunch of disguised draped delinquents accumulated around him in an attempt to piggyback on his presence after having already initiated the ritual to summon forth the house's occupant. Okay. Trick-or-treaters came to the door. No doubt these vultures must have been dawdling in the area, debating who should dare go up and knock on the dreaded dreamer door. The alliteration is already coming at me. This is like the alliteration fic. Before his obvious imbecile, this oblivious imbecile, had somehow stumbled into sorting out the situation for them. It's alliterative. What is it doing? That's hilarious. Why not? The problem was, these half-assed hyenas in hiding were here with the sole intention to storm the territory and fight to the death for their fair share of treats, and him being on the front lines made him enemy number one for having the gall to stand in their way, despite coming here first. A bunch of frenzied piranhas, the whole lot, and with hometown being such a small town, Pizza Pants recognized most of them through their costumes. That one was the neighbor kid, who lived a couple doors down, and a few of them were easily recognizable as the little siblings of classmates. Oh, so Pizza Pants isn't answering the door, he's there with the trick-or-treaters. And he's getting swarmed by the other ones. I get it. I get it. This is somehow Gogolian. What is Gogol? It's a trick fic. As if that's any different from let that sink in. As if there's any difference in how much interpretation you need to understand what's going on at the basic level. Nikolai Gogol. I don't know that guy. I know Nikolai Tesla. Okay, let's unpack. That one was a neighbor kid who lived a couple doors down. A few of them are easily recognizable as the little siblings of classmates, so no one specific. So there he was, being ganged up on by a bunch of annoying scamps he knew the names and addresses of, and yet there was nothing he could do about it. He was going to be thrown into the fray with a ton of little troublemakers running around tonight because it was Halloween. This is Halloween. The one night where adults were mandated front row seats to observe all the machinations those miscreants' mischievous minds could muster, yet were encouraged to discount said diabolical deviousness in the name of tradition. Wonderful. Halloween. We got Halloween before gay in this fic. Where is it? There it is. It wasn't that long ago that Pizza Pants was one of those wicked whippersnappers casually capering in the chilly evening air without a care in his head except for the high hopes of the houses which left out and watched pails of fun-sized goodies guarded by their hastily tacked-on take-one notes. Hang on, I need a beat for this. I need a beat. This is bars. Actually, oh wait, no. I just want to know how this sounds. What's gonna happen? So there he was, being ganged up with a bunch of annoying scamps who knew the names and I gotta figure out the flow. So there he was, being ganged up on by a bunch of annoying scamps who knew the names and addresses of, yet there was nothing he could do about it. He was gonna be thrown in the fray with a ton of little troublemakers running around tonight, because it was Halloween, the one night where... I'm trying. One night where adults were mandated front row seats to observe all the machinations those miscreants' mischievous minds could muster, yet were encouraged to discount said diabolical deviousness in the name... Oh, this is fucking weird. What am I doing? What's happening? It wasn't long ago that Pizza Pants was one of those wicked whippersnappers casually capering into the chilly evening air without a care in his head, except for the high hopes of the house which left out in watch pails of fun-sized goodies, guarded by their hastily tacked on take-one notes. He was more than happy to obey the sign multiple times, taking one with each hand. Those laissez-faire bucket... Oh, that was a bad idea. I'm not doing that again. As soon as I get the flow, I doubt myself. I got like the rap guru in chat saying to believe in the heart of the cards. This reminds me of, it's not even rap. It's like, there's this fucking musical. Not Hamilton, don't worry. I was in the pit band for some high school musicals. And so I heard a lot of them. And one was The Music Man. And it had this spoken word song that was like, you can't make a living selling big trombones and the piccolo, the something, something, something. It was just, it's like that. It's written like that. Fascinating. Coca donates 100 arse bucks. That was a good idea. Please do that again. Is there a way? I need to like slow it down. It's too fast. Maybe I can just put it on slightly slower Buck Bumble. There's a vision here though. Hang on. Bring back Buck Bumble. Even that alliterates. I need it extended too. How does this go? This sounds like shit. Oh yeah, we're going hard. This'll work, this'll work. So there he was, being ganged up on by a bunch of annoying scamps he knew the names and addresses of, and yet there was nothing he could do about it. He was gonna be thrown in the fray with a ton of little troublemakers running around tonight because it was Halloween. I'm not sure this is better. It's gonna work if I workshop it enough. The one night where adults were mandated front row seats to observe all the machinations those miscreants, mischievous minds could muster, yet were encouraged to discount said diabolical deviousness in the name of tradition. It wasn't that long ago that Pizza Pants was one of those wicked whippersnappers, casually capering in the chilly evening air without a care in his head, except the high hopes for the houses which left out on watch paled fun-sized goodies, guarded by their hastily tacked-on take-one notes. He was more than happy to obey the sign multiple times, taking one with each hand. Those laissez-faire bucket spots were saving his grace, the mother lode that usually scored him the most loot as he got older, since the nosy neighbor ladies would... Okay, I tried one more time for the dono. We're actually not doing it again. The laissez-faire flow. I sing the Gaster rap to the Lethal Company song? I did that? School assembly corps? Oh yeah, I'm hitting that flow. I'm doing better than Wayne did from RTVS. You should hear him try to freestyle Sonic on stream. That was even worse, okay? The Gaster rap? When did I do the Gaster rap to the Lethal Company song? Was that a real thing? Dave Strider type shit. Okay, let's keep it civil. I did that on Fatal Gang? Did I just have it memorized? I might have it memorized. It was like, Serious Delirious Darkness do be mysterious. Darker market with a marker. Something, no. I tracked this. Someone wanted it for an animation, so I actually recorded this, but I forget it now. Shanks is gonna ping me. Okay. Adultery sucks, yo. Yes. Theo Gajinka says adultery sucks. Thank you, Catholic Church, for the Theo Gajinka. Alright, maybe I should actually read the fic now, instead of whatever the fuck that was. Unbearably shitty rhymes. Drugs are bad, you can't take them. Oh, it's in general? Gonna watch my own clip on stream. Let's go. Here, this works. I got it. Furious, delirious darkness to be mysterious. Turtlenecks and bottlenecks appearing out in parsecs, looking for something very, very interesting. Darker yet darker. A market with a marker. I'm the sound from the clouds, sitting skeleton of dreams. Hear the clapping in the crowd, all the people speaking hands. All these menial and immaterial tasks got me rapping through mask. Beware the man who speaks in hands, always in the top 5. For the rave dive, my PhD won't deter me, no. I got it. Oh my god. Yeah, that goes hard. I think Buck Bumble is just not easy to rap to. That's the only explanation. SoundCloud rapper on the block. Hell yeah. You don't know that, Coca? That's from Election Trucking. That was like live generated by chat. It's better than AI. We can put back on the Silent Hill. Lil Cunningham. Okay. Pizza Pants is trick-or-treating. It wasn't that long ago that Pizza Pants was one of those wicked whippersnappers, casually whispering in the chilly evening air without a care in his head except for the high hopes for houses which left out unwatched pails of fun-sized goodies, guarded by only their hasty tacked-on take-one notes. He was more than happy to obey that sign multiple times, taking one with each hand. Those laissez-faire bucket spots were often his saving grace, the mother lode that usually scored him the most loot as he got older. Since the nosy neighbor ladies would often scold them for brazenly begging for scraps at 16, pint-sized psychos stealing stuff and scaring shit out of toddlers was tolerable, but a timid teen taking treats was going too far. Well, what could he do? He was broke and wanted sweets regardless of age. Heck, he'd still go around pleading for leftover low-tier candies if he thought he could get away with it. Alas, these days he had a job to occupy his time, thus began his transition into adulthood. It sucked. Adultery sucks. I'm still rapping without the beat. Is this what happens if you believe in the heart of the cards? You can rap without the beat? Foolish ant, you think I need 2 hands to pray, said Netero. Alternate take on Chimera Ant arc, where the king and Netero have a rap battle. You think I need a beat to rap, King of Ants? Then he drops the hardest part you've ever heard and fucking explodes. Okay. Sorry, I just went on a bit of I had a vision. Come to think of it, he'd currently be up to his elbows in pizza grease and cardboard boxes if Asriel hadn't called him up for once, wanting to hang out. On a school night, too. These opportunities came up once in a while, came up once in a blue moon, and he'd be a lunatic to let it pass him by. The caveat was, as he had to bring their sneaky siblings trick-or-treating. Instead of the pair shooting the shit and enjoying the evening on their own, it was more of an invite for Pizza Pants to entertain Azzy, while that guy kept an eye on Chris, the biggest troublemaker of them all. So while it might be considered getting the short end of the stick, it beat the hell out of staying at work. And even though tonight was supposedly the busiest night of the year, with all the Halloweenies in town throwing pizza parties and the amount of customers who called and crossed over into double digits, he'd be impressed at how low the public standards had gotten. Busy for Icy's Pizza was any other food chain's typical dead shift. Lucky thing too, since Pizza Pants was able to talk his way out of being pushed around by the boss tonight, which was what let him be here instead. Shoved around by a bunch of superheroes and fairy princesses half his size. Whatever, he was mature now. He shouldn't let it bother him. If anything, he too could learn to grow callous from this experience. Being squashed in the sea of loudmouths was just a warm-up before the real Halloween heist began. At least there was still some light outside, so we could plainly peer into the perpetrator's face as they invaded his personal space, which might convince one or two of them to back off a bit. Once the veil of darkness fell, that's when the real carnage began. This is so fun to read. It's like, it's just poetic enough. It's just enough bars that it has like a rhythm to it. It's entertaining just to read it. Mel, you missed the Buck Bumble rap. Yeah, it's devastating. I tried to rap to Pidgefic with Buck Bumble. Just a moment. A gentle call resounded from inside, signifying that indeed Toriel had been responding to door duty for the night. Usually it was Asgore who took on this task. That man was unnaturally good with children and had a knack for taming these wild beasts into halfway presentable little angels. It was just a shame that Toriel was the one who had gotten into teaching, leaving Asgore with the unfitting title of Chief of Police. Imagine, Mrs. Dreamer, the lady who ran her classroom as tightly as a prison, and Mr. Dreamer, the man who ran a jail cell like it was a nursery. That's a funny pair they made. Honestly, if the Mr. and Mrs. decided to swap jobs for a day, it would be all too fitting. Perhaps that's why things had to be this way. Society wouldn't know how to run itself if monsters were actually capable at their jobs. Very true. This is cutting commentary. Living in a gaster's paradise. So what you're saying is Toriel's a cop. Trick or treat! The pack enthusiastically yelled out in near unison, hoping to expedite the process. If they were so impatient that upon the door cracking open a mere inch, the crowd around them thrashed like a flock of frantic fangirls stampeding toward the stage at a rock concert, and when given an inch, those pint-sized punks crammed into a huddled mass, desperate to be the first to partake in one of countless handfuls of sugary treats they would no doubt obtain tonight. It feels like a triumph. Reaching the end of the sentence is like a triumph. It's like crossing the finish line. Not only had Pizza Pants' foot been trampled on, some knuckleheads actually decided to kick him aside, causing him to lose all footing, the nerve of this younger generation. Didn't they know how to treat their elders with care? If he wound up breaking a leg over the incident, he'd be forced to come up with a much cooler story about how it happened when going into work tomorrow. Unceremoniously, Pizza Pants face planted into the sunflowered off to the side. No, flower bed, not sunflowers. Face planted into the flower bed off to the side, getting a nice big welcoming kiss from the dirt below him. Sure enough, his plight was completely unnoticed. He internally cursed at the soothing praises spewing from the dreamer's lying lips, commenting on the roughhousing ruffian's costumes as she was doling out the goods, completely undermining the misfortune that had happened to him. Sunflower, you the sunflower! That's for the Plants vs. Zombies AU, which I'm sure exists. Don't even bother telling me actually that exists, streamer. I know it probably exists. It definitely exists. Pants, what are you doing down there? Trying to give us a scare? Pizza Pants immediately scrambled to his feet, realizing that Azzy had been here too. He didn't mind looking a bit pitiful in front of a lady, as that could net him some sweet sympathy points. But in the presence of his creme de la creme best friend, he had an already rickety reputation to uphold. Scaring him off is exactly what he feared happening. I'm sensing repression. The gay is coming, Pizza Pants. The gay is coming for you. Dang it, you caught me. I was about to pop up and plaster my paws against the window, give little buddy a real shock. Pizza Pants pantomimed creature claws, his fingers flexing frivolously to emphasize his point. The look on Azzy's face, though, told him that he didn't buy into his bluff. That guy was completely unconvinced. I'm afraid we've been staring out the window since I called, waiting for you to arrive. Azriel immediately gave him a hand dusting off the debris and flower petals with a sheepish, pained smile. He'd probably seen the pathetic scene from earlier and avoided teasing him about it to save some face. And even helped him clean off his face at that. What a good friend. Pizza Pants coughed to clear the air and looked off to the side where Chris had appeared. Completely the same as normal, except for a red-horned headband and a plastic pumpkin-shaped trick-or-treat bucket. Nice. All three of them had the no-costume thing going on this year, and since they were all low-efforting into group, they could seem like they were intentionally making a statement about the consumerist nature of Halloween. Yeah, he could totally make this work. At least he wouldn't be the odd man out this time. This time, he could be the odd man in. So, Azzy, trick or treat. I suppose it'll be the trick this year. I'll be the trick this year, and you get to be the treat. Dude, he's coming on so strong. He's already flirting. He's crazy. Unable to wrap his hazy head around this seemingly nonsensical statement, Pizza Pants thrust out a greedy hand. No brains for brains. Give me something freaking candy. It's my payment for chaperoning you guys tonight. Oh, I see. What is this? Silent Hill music going crazy. Breathe in the monochrome night. Damn. The relentless future. The jewel box heavens. Periwinkle twilight. Monochrome night. I vibe. There's nothing like a pidge fake to get the energy up. I don't know what the energy is, but it's up. Ezreal let out an amused snort and went back inside to retrieve a couple pieces of festively wrapped confections from the designated bowl his mother had just put away. Of course, the Dreamer's family knew better than to stock up on chocolate with the unrestrained, untamed human they let roam loose around the house, so the traditional time-hardened black and orange peanut butter toffees his friend placed in his hand would have to suffice. Peanut butter toffees? Can I go on my molasses toffee rant again? So I've never heard of a peanut butter toffee. It sounds good, but in my mind, the black and orange Halloween toffee is a molasses candy, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's just a piece of toffee that's made of molasses. But strangely enough, I've never encountered peanut butter flavored toffee. Including that one VTuber you may have heard of, because she's allergic to peanut butter. Interesting. He couldn't decide if this was better or worse than the apples and popcorn balls Toriel would sometimes add to the mix. They're good, Pizza Pants. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear dissing molasses toffees. Who doesn't like toffee? But even if it was nearly inedible, sweets were sweet. Wait a minute. Is the stream fucking up? My chat is frozen. I'm refreshing. Uh-oh. Where's my stream? My stream is frozen. Oh no, it came back, it came back, it came back. Wait, no, it didn't come back. Fuck. Emergency Wi-Fi refresh. Come on. Come back. Come back, stream. Ay caramba, what's happening? We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back! I saved it. I think I saved it. The stream didn't end, right? I think my internet was fucking up there. I had to quickly reconnect to the internet. Okay, we're fine. I've put my router against the front of my computer case, so hopefully it's getting cooled by the fans. I like to think that that helps. I don't know. Anyway, we're back. Yes, router. RAM reference. Okay, what was the last thing? Did you stop hearing the stream, or did I just stop seeing chat? Like, what was the last thing that I read here? Oh, you can hear me? All right. Yeah, we were at Taffy. That's fine. That's fine. I was saying, who doesn't like toffee? Here's your candy, you big baby. What a cheap date. The cheapest in town, baby. I can do that better. The cheapest in town, baby. The cheapest in town. Yeah, burger pants. Yeah. Speaking of that specific voice I just did, my family convinced me to watch the original Beetlejuice with them recently. I'd never seen it before. It's a weird fucking movie. I knew it would be a weird fucking movie. Strange, though. Tonally bizarre. Fascinating in a way. Also, like, Beetlejuice is barely relevant in the movie. He's just like a guy. It's kind of fascinating. He's just kind of this like creepy, gross dude who they have to get rid of at the end. Yeah, there's a sequel coming out, I think. Yeah, and I know there's a whole media empire surrounding Beetlejuice. They've got like 2 animated series and like a musical and a movie. It's a whole thing. I know that Mel's a big Beetlejuice fan. As what's her face? Lydia, as a Lydia-coded individual, somewhat. Am I allowed to say that about you, Mel? Guess you're not exactly gothic. That's close enough. A goth nerd. I saw you wearing like evil clown makeup once just for the hell of it. You were just doing that, okay? I'm a loud whimsy. I'm not saying you're not, Mel. But you probably would make friends with ghosts if you had those. Okay, where are we going? Where are we going? Toffee, cheapest date in town, baby. Pizza Pants practically reeled in embarrassment at his own words. Oh yeah, they're not in a relationship. Asriel's doing his thing. He was trying to seem suave with a touch of lighthearted banter, but his wordplay game hadn't quite booted up yet. If he had instead been with a gaggle of giggling girls, it just might have worked out. However, it was extremely awkward with him. His straight-laced golden boyfriend, golden boyfriend, and that guy's disapproving sibling, all just standing there as he casually called no one in particular baby, also while managing to call himself cheap in the same breath. It was a dud any way he cut it, not like unlike the pizzas he was supposed to be shilling on the masses. Isn't that his name, though, Dudley? Is this LTSI canon? Is he still Dudley? Who knows? I know about the spiritualist lore, Mel. I wasn't gonna, like, out you as a spiritualist, though. Not proactively. Not that I'm even saying that you're a spiritualist. You are adjacent to spiritualists. Okay. This is before Greg and May start the knife fight. Okay. Maybe if he'd stayed the whole shift instead of coming out here, he wouldn't be nearly as humiliated. Maybe. But he wasn't necessarily a guarantee. It was always a toss-up when working with pizza. He pocketed the loose tooth removal candies, as he offered him, and tried to salvage what little of his dignity he had left. So I guess this version of Pizza Pants also isn't the LTSI one, because he's not wearing veneers, and he would never touch a toffee if he was LTSI Pizza Pants. See, this is the extent to which the lore is embedded in my brain now. I can tell the difference between the two universes. There's like actual dog whistles being placed into the prose here. Alright, so you make sure little buddy doesn't try to pull any pranks, and I'll keep a keen eye out to make sure you don't try anything funny. I thought you liked funny business, Mr. Comedian. That's what Flowey says to Sans at some point, I think, or about Sans at least. Or no, wait, am I thinking of the, that's what Kara says about Snowy. Does Flowey ever call Sans the comedian? That's probably like a one-by-one quote, but I know that there's like the comedian. If you try to move on from Snowden before killing Snowy, there's like a Kara line about like the comedian got away. I'm trying to think. Snowdrake, who Snowy's what his mom calls him or something. I forget. Okay. Nah, bruh. I'm a high-class kind of guy. Kindo guy. You gotta catch me with only the highest tier stuff. I ain't no clown. Kindo guy. That's a grammar mistake. I'm sorry. You're going down for that one. It's really a spelling error, but there's no actual square for that. Yeah, candy. Outfits. They're not wearing outfits. Or costumes. They are wearing clothes. Chris is here. It's nighttime. Already pretty dense. Okay, nothing too spooky yet. Nothing too spooky. Well, that was intentional? High class kindo guy. Alright, if it was intentional, I'll undo that. Actually, I can't because it's MS Paint. We're stuck with it. There's only one layer. Upon hearing his real accent slipping through... Oh, that's an accent. I see. Kindo guy. Asriel... Wait, is he doing a fake accent? I have to parse this retroactively now. Asriel let out a charmingly candid laugh. It was an open secret that the two of them shared, the one scrap of similarity in their lives that they had in common, talking like a moron. As he had somehow picked up a bit of a country twang, despite being raised by the prim and proper Mrs. Dreamer. What? From where? Hugh could tell. The most likely culprit influencing him had to be his father, since the sibling hardly talked at all, but the court was still out on that one. Perhaps little Buddy did hide a strong accent under all those thick layers of monotone their voice usually hid itself under. Yeah, as for Pizza Pants, he had grown up in the city before he moved here, and thus his accent was quite distinguishable from these backwater residents. In both cases, their natural manners of speaking were deemed undignified and made them appear uneducated. So, while these two loose-talking heathens learned to clean up their language and speak like young gentlemen in middle school, when they were alone, they devolved back into a couple of slurry-speeched idiots. It was a sign of respect, akin to saying, I feel comfortable being my true self around you without all the mushy words and gay implications. So, what does that... So Pizza Pants, he talks like this anyways, a New Yorker, fine, I get it. But what's he... But anyway, but when he's masking the accent, what does he sound like? He'd sound like, now, what was the other voice? How do I separate the Brooklyn out now? There was like a non-Brooklyn Pizza Pants voice.
Yeah, little buddy, it sounds like this. This is the his more refined voice that he brings out when he doesn't want to sound uneducated, right? Yeah, little buddy.
But country twang Asriel is fucking weird. How do we do that? Asriel voice is so ingrained as this. I don't know what the fuck else to do, really. I can't really do a country accent. Can't really do it. It becomes Australian. Maybe Asriel becomes Australian if he's in a casual setting. I can't do an Australian accent. I don't know what this accent is. It's being generated on the fly. What the fuck? They didn't say which...
So we can sound like Andre. This is the English country accent.
It is not an English accent slowed down. It's not remotely similar. Unchanged, but throw in yeehaws as needed. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. Australia is basically the south of the British Commonwealth. What if I try doing an Australian accent and it'll be terrible, and whatever results from that will be Asriel's real voice, quote unquote. It'll be great. Oh, you want a cowboy accent? Right, why don't you hold on for this for me? You might have my hands full with Chris. I'm Larry the Cable Guy. Eat Prilosec. You want that, really?
A deeper Richard Hammond.
Eat Prilosec. We're gonna have Prilosec Asriel in this fic. For some reason. Alright, Pidge says this is the voice, so it's the voice. Right, why don't you hold on to this for me, since I might have my hands full with Chris? That's Asriel's voice now. Wait, no, that's bad? This is bad? This is bad. What's wrong? What's happening? Now we say it's bad. Oh, the Australia was the one you liked. Okay, okay. Right, why don't you hold on to this for me a moment, since this is going to be really hard. I can't do an Australian accent. Right, why don't you hold on to this for me, since I might have my hands full with Chris. Before he knew it, Asriel grabbed a whole-ass slasher knife out from the tiny human's hands and stuffed it into a white sack, promptly getting it out of their reach by handing it over to the bewildered Pizza Pants. Chris glared daggers at the unfortunate party for having the audacity to get involved, but the situation was well out of his hands. He was left holding the bag whether he wanted it or not. He's a bag holder, born bag holder. Giving a weapon back to the moody kid who already looked like they wanted to beat him up wasn't such a good idea, and you'd have to cross Azzy to do so. It was best to leave things as they were. So Chris's huge butcher knife has been confiscated for public safety.
Sorry, little buddy. What do you say I just keep this on me until you need it? To, shank a motherfucker.
What need was there to bring a real knife trick-or-treating? It couldn't be considered a part of their costume, since demons weren't well renowned for their skills chopping up some mean onions in the kitchen, unless the demon is Marco Pierre White. I'm a demon. I have no loyalty to anyone. I just cook real good. That's how Marco Pierre White speaks. And it's not like they brought such a menacingly sharp implement to show off to their friends. They didn't have any. And the ones they thought they did were merely hand-picked victims to their pranks. That's depressing. So what? It was intended to be used to threaten the neighbors into giving them chocolates? They'd already gotten some from going door to door, no effort needed. Was it to threaten the other runts into giving them their candy too? Or perhaps it was actually meant for himself. One small swipe, and there was one less adult to get in their way. Pizza Pants couldn't help break into a cold sweat. The group hadn't even slipped out of the driveway, and already the night was starting off on the wrong foot. So it's not LTSI canon, but Chris wanting to shank Pizza Pants is multiversal invariant. Nice costume. No. Nice costume, by the way. Nice costume, by the way. Yeah, that's how Azzy talks now. Nice costume, by the way. Asriel hummed, leading the disgruntled Chris down the road. Pizza Pants made sure to keep up pace.
Oh, this old thing? I thought it'd be a hit with the ladies if I prettied around as the iconic pizza boy. It's a role I've been playing for a while on and off. You'd think I'd catch my big break any day now, but no dice. Only diced tomatoes and cigarette breaks.
That's a bingo. Hang on. Smonking. Smoke.
Is that so? I thought you were going as Epiphany. As an epiphany.
What is that? Pizza Pants nearly lost his footing. He'd heard that word somewhere, but he wasn't quite sure what it meant. It's a really nice song by Patricia Taxon that sometimes appears in Summoning Salt videos. I can play it on piano. We're derailing the stream for this. Ugh. Fucking thing won't focus. God damn it. Gotta wrestle with this thing. Focus, damn it. There we go. That's Epiphany, Pizza Pants. Now you know. Sorry, that was totally gratuitous. I just like that song. Heartwarming part of the speedrunner's arc. No, that's for when something really crazy is going to go down. That's for when, like, you think you've reached the absolute limit and then something just bonkers happen. It's like the speedrunner taps into, like, the heart of the cards. I keep saying that. Just becomes one with the universe, is struck with, like, divine inspiration, and, like, that song comes on, you know, like, shit's gonna go down big. It's very rarely used in Summoning Salt videos. I wasn't quite sure what it meant. It kind of sounded like a girl's name, but as his tone didn't denote that he meant anything degrading by it. Pizza Pants hates women! Before he could think to question it, the voice beside him that rarely ever spoke decided to chime in.
Because you, Eureka. Eureka. Yeah, you get it? Took 2 tries for that one, sorry.
That punny devil let out an evil chuckle and a knowing smirk. Usually Pizza Pants would think that Asriel put them up to this, to pull his leg a little. But the joy in that small but lethal horror's face said it all. Presumably they talked Azzy into setting up the joke so that they could swoop in and sucker punch him in the gut. Unfortunately, it was super effective. He really did stink with this uniform on. The rank odor of cheese permeated his clothes to the extent that he would purposely quarantine them from the rest of his pitiful wardrobe, so that he'd at least have a couple outfits that didn't make him gag while wearing them. It's not like he didn't want to change before coming over, but his apartment was out of the way, and he really didn't put that much thought into it. As he told them he'd be waiting, so he blindly ran straight over, in a heterosexual way. Not wanting to let the squirt have the satisfaction of knowing it got to him, Pizza Pants plastered on his one-of-a-kind customer service smile. The kind that would scare off every one of the difficult customers. Kind one. What does that mean? What does that mean? Nah, see, the potency of the one perk that comes from this job. Anyone who crosses me, I get to hit him with the good whiff of the stink. Knock him clean out. Care to test my patience, young Master Dreamer? He's got stink powers. Oh, one of a kind, the kind that would one... Though I didn't parse that. Okay, I get it. I've got to admit, it was pretty tempting to say if you're much of a knockout as you claim to be. Asriel is just openly flirting. This was... Okay, new headcanon, this is what the relationship was like, and let that sink in for like 10 years before the events of the story. It was just Asriel doing this all the time, and Pizza Pants never caught on for like 10 years. Suddenly Asriel's actions make perfect sense. It's like, yeah, I gotta stab him to death now. He's getting stabbed to death. It's the only way to do it. Your soul is getting sucked into the vortex. Canonized by Pidge, nice. As he's so down bad in this way. Pizza Pants is the Ryuji archetype? You mean he loves to eat ass? I mean, who said that? Ryuji, no! Wait, ain't that bad? You have no idea, says Pidge. For real? Ain't that bad? For real? For real? Useless. Pizza Pants had been aiming his quip at the youngest Master Dreamer and was taken aback by Asriel somehow mistakenly thinking he was sassing back to him. Well, it's not like Chris would speak up in their own defense. They weren't the type to quickly banter back and forth like he and Azzy did, even though they were no doubt capable of doing so with their sharp wit. They were a sharp-tongued sniper. They could roll around the thick of it until they decided they'd had enough, then perfectly pull off a 360 no-scope bullseye in a single shot. If this had been a real battle of the minds, Pizza Pants knew he'd be dead on arrival. His aim was simply awful, and instance of accidental friendly firing proved anything. Oh my god. Regardless, it didn't matter. His teasing wasn't meant to carry any weight, he was just doing it to lighten the mood. And since his bullshit cleanly bounced off both their shoulders, things could be perfectly square now.
Okay, little buddy. Tonight is your night. Where do you want to go first?
The most obvious choice was the holiday residence, as it was the very first stop right as they got to the road. Oh, they better give out the full-size chocolate bars. I know they can afford it. I know your mom can afford the full-sized O. Henry Noel. The Holiday family had a grand estate that usually housed a sizable station of snacks and drinks right inside the gates of their massive, elaborately decorated front yard. This is actually crazy. Hang on, this is the Holidays doing Halloween. Halloween holiday real? Could it be? Do they actually decorate? Or do they decorate for Christmas during Halloween? I can't wait to find out. A bunch of the neighboring parents would go over to chit-chat for most of the night, leaving their kids to wander the streets with reckless abandon. However, the telltale sign of loud, spooky music wasn't quite audible yet, meaning it was probably too early for them to have set up. No, they actually do spooky stuff. Crazy. It's just the Nightmare Before Christmas, right? Noelle's parents had to explain it to her by, like, showing her the Nightmare Before Christmas and being like, you know, it's like a holiday that leads into Christmas. And she's like, oh, I get it now. And they watch Krampus by M. Night Shyamalan or whatever. Is that a Shyamalan film? I forget. Silent Hill Grooves. Not that any of the holiday's pageantry mattered to Chris, mind you. Their main form of entertainment was upsetting the cute girls that lived there. Whatever kind of game little buddy thought they were playing, they obviously were losing out. They traumatized the younger one so much that she shrieked and ran whenever she saw them coming, hiding behind her sister for protection. And the older one, man, what a firecracker. That dame didn't take any crap, often threatening Chris's terror and violence with her own brand of terror and violence, causing poor peacemaker Razzie to step in and struggle to convince them both to back down. Perhaps little buddy only act like that because it garnered such a dramatic response. They really did like to watch as other people scrambled around them, which is why Pizza Pants knew just to grin and bear any harassment thrown his way, and it would quickly subside. Maybe one day Azzy would learn this trick too. The more intense of a reaction he gave them, the more likely they were to egg him on.
Graveyard.
Trauma was mentioned. We got it. Sounds like Pizza Pants is a thing for deaths, maybe. Why not? Anything else? No ghosts. We're fine. I missed colored text, really? Ah. If Icy shows up, we're cooked. Actually, I gotta take a piss break before we go further here. We need a piss break stat. I'll be right back. Listen to the Silent Hill ambiance as I leave. I came back to best Silent Hill 2 music. You hope Andrew got candy and tea. I did. Well, I already had tea. I took down, guess what? A molasses toffee. And I ate that shit. I mistimed the break, though. There was some pulled pork that was just not quite ready, so I don't know. I guess I'll go back up in a little bit and get pork. I don't want to miss the pulled pork. Alright. I'm pulling my pork on stream? No way. Stretching toffee, pulling pork. We don't do that shit here. This is a Christian Halloween stream.
Graveyard.
The graveyard, of course. Any pubescent prankster would want to see the cemetery on All Hallows Eve. No doubt they'd attempt to disrupt those trying to rest in peace. If anyone could disturb the dead, it had to be the doing of one Chris Dreamer. Disturbing the living was already child's play to them. Straight up jorking it, pulling it, and by it I mean my pork. Nice. So, a grave stroll through the brave yard and connected creepy woods seem to be... Braveyard. Is that a typo? I've already written down the typo square, doesn't matter. So a grave stroll through the brave yard and the connected creepy woods seem to be on the main itinerary for tonight. An ungrateful evening filled with instances such as Pizza Pants looking away for just 1 second to be surprised by a human hand jutting up from beneath the dirt and grabbing onto him like a zombie, scaring his soul halfway out of his body, or him suddenly being ambushed by that little butthead jumping down from the trees and forcing him to land flat on his ass while the foliage below lodged its way into his spine. Hopefully the woods part would be short-lived, or else Pizza Pants feared he would be short-lived. Thankfully, the nearby church was often open, with a couple non-threatening children's activities and thoroughly mediocre refreshments. That might serve as a distraction for a few minutes of respite. My pronunciation of that word was fucked up forever, because I thought it was respite. And then I said it out loud once in a presentation, and my English teacher at school corrected me. He said that's pronounced respite. Because I think it was a poem. I was trying to rhyme it with something. But now I'm stuck between, because respite seems wrong. Like, why wouldn't it be respite? Word used in Homestuck. One of the 800,000. Well, now I can't say anything. You said ethereal as urethral for years? And your English teacher said nothing. At that point, they were just pranking you. Where was the teacher from? Did he have an accent? He may have been like an ex-English person. He had a bit of a funny... He spoke mostly just in a normal Canadian kind of accent. Who knows? Ethereal. I'm picturing Hypnospace. That guy's his druidic, his urethral druidic wallpaper. It's gonna be good. Let's keep going. A few minutes of respite. Perhaps he and Azzy could even have a chance to catch up and chat. Spend a second or two of this hectic evening not having to clean up after the chaos.
That sounds good. We can visit the houses along the way and end our night with a cozy bonfire in the woods. How about it, Pants? Did you bring your lighter?
That's the voice. Pizza Pants' hand darted to pat his pocket, and feeling the familiar shape, he sighed in relief. He had actually been cigarette-free for a month now after he had been caught and chastised by his mother. It's not like he really enjoyed it much when he was doing it anyway. It was just another thing to fill up the emptiness of his unremarkable life. Smoking had given him something to buy, something to do, something to look forward to. Of course, Pizza Pants still carried the stale pack of cigarettes and his lighter on him at all times. Do cigarettes go stale? Is that a real thing? I guess it's a plant. It could go. It's like tea leaves can go stale probably. His hand had been the. This had been the one cool grown-up thing that everyone knew he did. His one way of rebelling against the system. If the others found out he was a quitter, he wouldn't have anything left to his identity other than that one time he failed to warm up a slice of pizza by stupidly stuffing it down his pants. We have a new pizza incident. Yeah, I don't want to think about the logic for that one. And he had to admit, being called Smokey instead would be a hell of a sick nickname. Better than the one he currently had anyway. Only you can prevent forest fires. Pizza-pression. He whipped out his classic Zippo and flicked it open, the flame within bowing to greet the nighttime air.
You know it. Just don't tattle on me to Mom, okay, little buddy? She already thinks I'm a bad influence, and I wouldn't want to give a worrywart heart any more concerns.
The deadpan voice gave out an ominous chuckle.
As smokes.
Chris?
Asriel, flustered by being outed so casually, looked away and did not dare meet Pizza Pants' eyes darting toward him. He would have believed it if Azzy had just... Oh, he wouldn't have believed it if Azzy just kept a straight face, but that reaction spoke volumes.
No shit, they weren't bluffing. Azzy, since when? Well, I saw you doing it and thought it looked, I don't know, sensual. I got curious is all.
Sensual. It's a normal thing to say to your bro. I had a vivid
mental image of what it'd be like if you were smoking and I sucked the smoke out of your mouth and said it was like dragon's breath. In a kind of suave way. Because, you know, I'm into dragons. Chicks, dragon chicks. And then it would be like that one scene from Chainsaw Man where the indirect kiss.
Anyway, Pizza Pants felt his stomach drop. He really was a bad influence after all. The princely dreamer heir had picked up a nasty habit because he'd witnessed a nasty friend doing it. How could Azzy be this weak to peer pressure? The idea sparked in Pizza Pants' brain that he should pretend like he wanted to quit and convince Asriel to kick the habit with him before Toriel found out. She really would overreact something fierce if she caught him smoking. Her punishments always outweighed the alleged behavior sevenfold, at least when it came to Asriel. As for Chris, she was rather...
Closed.
Chris immediately brought two of them out of their own worlds by this simple declaration. After all, it's just another brick. If little buddy spoke up about it, it had to be something meaningful. And sure enough, the holiday estate that was usually buzzing with activity was locked up tight, the festive decorations barred behind the cold, unwelcoming wrought iron gates. How strange. Did they decide to celebrate Halloween somewhere different this year? So music's going kind of hard, actually. I don't know when this plays in Silent Hill. While Pizza Pants and Asriel were busy dumbly staring at the sealed entryway, as if it was a sign of the impending apocalypse, their brains had failed to remind them of the most pressing matter of the night. Chris was always 2 steps ahead. They quickly took the opportunity to press down on the handle of their knife, through the plain white pillowcase it had been hiding in, and easily coaxed it out, slicing a hole through the fabric so that it poked out just enough for Chris to grab it by the blade. Without even having to disturb Pizza Pants' tight grip on the bag, they stole the sharp implement back right under his nose. That kid had absolutely no fear whatsoever. It was actually quite chilling. And right as Azzy's reaction speed was catching up with the unfolding events, the crafty child slipped away, taking off down the street. Chris Dreamer steals a large knife, runs down the street. Ain't looking good for you. This ain't looking good. Can you get a TLDR? No! No, the TLDR is that Pizza Pants is going trick-or-treating with Chris and Asriel. They're not yet a couple. That's it. There's been so much prose, and that's basically all that's happened. They're going trick-or-treating, that's it. And Asriel's Australian. Goodness, they're getting away. Asriel sighed to his friend, urging Pizza Pants to tag along after them. Chris, don't run with the point facing upward. At least carry it safely in your bucket, won't you? Even though Asriel's scolding was loud enough to rattle the glass on nearby houses, that kid didn't flinch one bit. In fact, they probably delighted in this game of cat and mouse, having their big brother worry about their safety and chase after them all night. It probably made them feel loved in a way that was more physical and more tangible than mere words. Proof, not just promises. So even stone-faced gremlins like Little Buddy needed to be reminded every once in a while, huh? No wonder they liked Halloween so much. Pizza Pants could finally understand the ways of the adults, the same turning a blind eye that he criticized earlier. Holidays were special occasions where kids get to live out their childhoods to the fullest, expressing themselves in ways they'd never be allowed once they grew up. So at least for now, it was best not to spoil their fun. So at least until Chris stabs someone to death accidentally, it's best not to spoil their fun. I agree, Pizza Pants. Well, that's nice. End of chapter 1. I'm sure chapter 2 is like Asriel tackles Burger Pants into the bushes and they make out, but it's going to be, probably for the sake of the stream flow, I'm going to move on now.